Next up in our lineup today is Jim Keenan. Jim is the CEO and president of A Sales Guy, Inc. He's also its chief antagonizer. He's been selling something to someone for his entire life. He's been teaching and coaching almost as long. With over 20 years of sales experience, which he'll tell you he doesn't give a hoot about, Keenan has been influencing, learning from, and shaping the world of sales for an awfully long time. He's the finder of the elephant in the room, as Keenan calls it, as he sees it, and lets nothing or no one go unnoticed. He's the father of 3 crazy girls. He's a PSIA certified level 2 ski instructor, an avid Boston sports fan. Is there any other kind? And Keenan keeps crazy busy even when he's not focused on business. A couple of crazy Keenan facts. He skied over 1 million vertical feet in the 2013-14 ski season at Vail. He circumnavigated the world via boat in 1993, seeing 120 countries in 100 days. And he's had braces 3 times because he was too darn stupid to wear his retainer the first 2 times. With that, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Jim Keenan.
Hey people, what's going on? It is Keenan. Thank you for joining me in the 2015 Inside Sales Virtual Summit. I'm pretty pumped. This is going to be fun. My topic is crack the code, gain access to tough prospects. Yes, this is a tough one. Prospects seem to become more and more difficult over time. So figuring out how to get their attention and how to pay attention to us is important. So I'm excited about this one. You can follow me at Keenan on Twitter, and let's have some fun with this. Let's use the hashtag tough prospects and see if we can get a little conversation or dialogue going. I'll follow that after this is gone live and answer questions if we have anything come from it. So let's just jump right in. I think what we should do, what's most important to kick this off, is how do you define a tough prospect and why are they tough? A tough prospect is tough, is someone who won't get back to you, is somewhat disrespectful, isn't responsive to your calls, doesn't want to participate in the conversation, doesn't share any information with you if they do take your call. They're sometimes belligerent. We've all experienced them. They just don't engage. They're not connected. So there's 2 paths that you can take here, and I want to make sure we get them both out. But one is if a prospect will never engage with you, if they will never share with you, if they will never give information, if they're always difficult and they just want you to tell, even if you can get them on the phone but won't share information, then get rid of them, dump them. Because your job is to help. Your job is to sell. And if you can't get the prospect to work with you, you can't help them out. And so everybody's wasting everybody's time. The goal is to get the prospect to work with you. So if they dig their heels and will never work with you, but they're giving you their time, dump them. The other group of prospects are the ones who won't give you their time, and then once you do get their time and you do it correctly, they start to share. But that's what we're going to talk about. How do you get them to respond, and then how do you get them to share? And the way to understand this and what we want to address is the reason they don't is because they don't perceive the value in a conversation with you. I know that doesn't feel good, does it? But that's the point. They don't perceive the value in giving up 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes of their time for you. They're like, my time is too valuable, and I see no reason to spend the currency of time on you, Mr. and Mrs. Salesperson. And a lot of times they're right. If you're like most salespeople, you come in trying to pitch your product. Can I talk to you about 5 minutes to tell you about our product, to tell you about all the cool things that it does, to tell about our features and functions? Can I get you on a demo? I'd like to show you our product. Prospects don't have time for this. My girl Jill Conrad, I love her book, Snap Selling, and she talks about it. The super busy, overloaded prospect. We have more and more responsibility. People are busier than ever. And so time is a valuable commodity. And so if you can't come up with enough consideration, for those of you in business law, right? It's a transaction. In exchange for their time, you have to provide some consideration of equal value. And talking about your product is not equal value. They don't care, right? So one of the things I've talked a lot about is the first sale in the big sale. The very first sale, the first sale you have to make is to get the prospect or customer to give you their time. That's what this is all about. They don't feel they have enough time for you. They don't have enough, and the reason is they don't think they have a problem. So they don't have enough time to look at it. They don't see the opportunity, so they don't want to waste the time talking about it. They don't think your product or service can do anything, so they want to spend time talking about it. No matter what angle you take, it always comes back to they don't feel they have enough time to give for whatever information you have. And so if you're going to crack the code with the tough prospect, if you're going to get the tough prospect to respond to you, you have to provide information that will make that is worth their time. So what is it? It's business. It's all about business. Yeah, your product does stuff, but at the end of the day, it's about your prospect's business. What does your prospect do every day? How are they measured? What problems are they solving? What's expected from them from the organization? What is it they're supposed to accomplish on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly basis? What is it they're trying to get done? When they show up every day and they sit their butt in their seat, what are they trying to do? You've got to know that. You've got to understand what they're trying to do. And then this is where the win comes from you. You have to be able to understand the things that get in their way, the things that prevent them from getting done what they want to get done, the things that prevent them from delivering on their objectives, the things that prevent them from meeting their goals, because that's where they'll be interested in talking to you. Conversations about how they can get to where they need to go, conversations how they can avoid the roadblocks that are preventing them from being successful, are conversations worth their time. That's the key right there. Conversations that are worth their time. And when they're business conversations, not pitches, they're going to perk up. You've got their attention. So what are we talking about then? Okay, what type of questions, what type of information, what type of conversations? I know this is high level, so let's go a little deeper. You got to know before you go in. You got to know what type of conversation. We're going to break it all down in 2 minutes. Too many of you and too many of us, we think we'll go in and we'll ask them, hey, tell me about a problem you're having. Tell me about the challenge you're having here. Tell me about your hiring process. Tell me about your manufacturing process. Tell me. And we've just committed the sin of wasting their time for us. Here's how we flip the script. Here's how it's different. When our product or service was created, whether it was created by the mad geniuses coding in a back of a garage or in a basement, or when someone came up with the idea for this super cool service or solution, they recognized there was a problem or a set of problems that wasn't being addressed or needed to be addressed better. And they were business problems. And so you need to go back to the drawing board and remember what those were and prepare yourself that before you make the call, before you engage with the prospect, prepare yourself to have conversations around those very specific problem sets that your product or service was designed to solve in the first place. The one that your current customers and have already invested in and are seeing return their business. So what I'm saying is, to crack the code, to get prospects to listen to you, you need to understand their business and be prepared with the questions that will allow you to discuss the problems they're having, and you need to know the problems before you start. So how do we do that? How do we find the problems? You have customers now. You have the product team. You have the folks who started the company, who designed the product. Said, well, what were we trying to fix? What difference were we trying to make? What were we trying to solve? What problem were we trying to solve when we built this company? And you want to list all of those problems on the left-hand side, right? In this case, I put this as an example simply for anybody who's selling things that can accelerate sales. It's kind of fitting, right? Inside sales could use this, right? What's some of the problems a sales team is facing? Low close rates. What's another problem a sales team could be facing? A decline in sales. So close rates are still high, they're just not closing as many, right? Or weak lead generation and prospecting. That's perfect for inside sales, right? Is your lead generation function strong? Are you getting the leads in the door? These are 3 specific problems that a sales team could be having, and anybody who has a product or service that solves these can start having a conversation around these problems. But there's more. So ask yourself, what does my product or service solve? What problems do my customers or prospects have that I can solve? But don't stop there. Then ask yourself, what's the impact of these problems and services? What is the impact that it's having on the organization? So what's the impact does low close rates have on a sales organization? High cost of sales. Yeah, that's a pain in the butt, right? Slower revenue growth, no questions asked. Fewer customers, absolutely. Less revenue, less profitability. So now I'm able to put together an understanding of what happens, what exists, what does this problem cause for the organization, what's the impact, and I become intimately aware, right? Take the time to ask yourself the next level of question. What is the impact of the problem that we solve? Then, here's my favorite part. This is where the best salespeople win. This is where they crush it. They then go through the process of trying to understand what makes, or what is it the root cause of these problems. What is it the root cause of low close rates? They can be caused by a weak sales team. Absolutely. You got a bad sales team. People don't know how to sell. They're not going to close as many deals, so you're going to have a low close rates. Lack of training. You could have a good sales team, but they need the training. It could be poor sales enablement. It could be poor deal strategies. It could be the leadership. You have poor sales management. They're not providing the support or direction they need. These are all the things that they're at the root cause of low close rates, which then in turn create the negative impact in the organization. So I want you to imagine, build this table for yourself, or you can go get it at Sales Guy U. It's called the Problem Identification Tool. And ask yourself, what are all the problems? What is the impact? And why do they exist? What's at the root cause? Imagine having all of this at your fingertips when you start to engage with your client, when you reach out for the first time. You're not saying, hey, I'd like to talk to you about my product or service, I'd like to show you the features, but you can begin to make some assumptions of the types of problems they're having, and you can ask questions around these problems. You can say, hey, are you finding your close rates where you'd like them to be? Are you struggling at increasing close rates or having the close rates like you'd like them to be? Could you take a second? Are you seeing a weakness in your lead generation? Do you believe you're getting the lead generation return on the dollars spent? Are you feeling comfortable that you're getting the quality of leads that you'd like to get out of your lead generation machine? All variations of the same question, but notice, I'm not talking about a product. I'm not talking about telling him anything or showing him anything. I'm just asking him if he's experiencing or if she is experiencing these problems. And if they say yes, or they say they're not sure, or they want to know more information, this is where understanding the root cause comes in. Because let's say if they say, yeah, I am having a little bit of trouble with weak lead generation, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Well, let me ask a question. We're aware, what we've learned is many times weak lead generation or prospecting is the result of a weak sales team or the inability of the sales team to diagnose the problem. Do you feel that's where it's coming from? Are you aware that sometimes it's not as much your product or service, but just how your team attacks it? No, I wasn't aware of that. You've got them, right? When you can start talking about the root cause and you can start having a conversation with them about why things exist, as Simon Sinek says, not just what, yes, you have a lead generation problem, or yes, you have low close rates, but why? Why do they have that? And be able to have that conversation with them early, that changes the ballgame. You've got their attention, because not only do you understand what their problems could be, but now you're perceived as someone who can solve them because you understand the root cause. You understand why they exist, and you can help shed light on where the problems are and the impact of it. And what does that do then? When it comes time to start talking about your product, it just falls right in. It just lays right in there. Because you know where or why they're experiencing the problem in their particular organization. Prospect A is experiencing it in one area, and so you address that. But the cause for Prospect B is something else, and so you can discuss it with them. You become, as we all heard, that trusted advisor. But the only way you can do that is to do something like this. Know the problem, know the impact of the organization, and know why it exists. When you can do that, prospects start softening up. They start to become butter. So with that said, it's all about helping fix. When we have the knowledge to help fix our clients' problems, we win. But too many times, we don't start the conversation in a way that helps them understand that we're not here to talk about us, we're here to talk about them. We want to engage them in fixing their world and help them solve the problems that they may or may not have or may not realize they have. So there you go. Help your clients fix their problems. Start with identifying the problems and make the information you have worth their time. With that, I'm out. Thanks, y'all. It was great. Hope you got something good out of it. Peace.